Hi, I'm Allie. This is a mat class for all levels. We'll start laying down in the center of the mat. Looking side to side a few times to lengthen the neck and start to feel the back of the head for the center spot. If you're laying down and the chin is pointing far back, you can prop your head up on a pillow, a block, something like that, looking for about a fist distance that can fit under the chin. You can always take a hand, a fist, and check out your neck position throughout the exercises. Because as we start to lift the head, or not lift the head if you choose to leave your head down, we want the connection to come from the abs starting to pull in and up, and then the head floats up versus cranking on the neck muscles. So getting really long through the trunk. Let the pelvis be heavy. If there's a large gap behind your low back, like you can easily fit a hand and have a hard time connecting the back of the pelvis, you can always add something under your lower back. Although we're not looking for an over tucking. I'm not looking for the hip bones to start to pull up towards the ribs. I want the hip bones, the front of the hips, facing up to the ceiling. That way I can start creating the corset 360 degrees, like there's saran wrap around the whole trunk. Head presses into the hands, hands press into the head. Exhale, floating up, checking even tension through the trunk. You can always tap those lower abs. And then using the breath to start engaging through the abs. There's a subtlety to it. We're not trying to get a stomach ache here. Just starting to scoop from the pelvic floor in and up to the deep layer of abs. Option to bring the legs into tabletop and continue. Each exhale you lift. Inhale, lower. Eventually holding, reaching out the arms for the 100. You can stay with the legs bent, the head down, the legs up, choosing the shape where you're connecting to your abs and lengthening the spine, adding the pumps. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. The pumps happening under the armpits where the arms attach to the trunk. About 3 more cycles, keeping the trunk still, the head still. And exhaling all the air out, bend the knees in, rock the body up for the half roll back. Feet about hip width. You can always walk the feet more forward to give the pelvis a little bit more space. Feet flat or flexed. Hands really light behind the back of the thighs. We're moving the pelvis back, drawing the abs in and up to bring the pelvis forward. A very small movement. The thighs are staying still. The pelvis is rotating. Option to reach out the arms. Check in with that head position again. That fist could fit under the chin. And the head's just along for the ride. It might want to jut forward, try and keep the head back, creating opposition. You can stay and keep playing with this. You can slowly roll back down for the full roll up. Full roll up, either keeping the legs bent or straightening the legs, option to bring the legs together. Inhale, start to curl chin to chest, starting to lift up and then peeling up bone by bone, rounding the whole spine forward, keeping the hands lifted about shoulder height, and then pulling back, going slow, lower back, middle back, getting really long. As the arms reach back overhead, shrug the shoulder blades up and then think about growing through the upper back rib cage. Inhale, finding space in the upper back, in the upper rib cage, reaching, competing to lift the spine up in towards the shoulder blades. So oftentimes we control the shoulder blades, and I find it very helpful to think more about the expansion of the rib cage. Inhaling up, exhaling, rounding, growing through the upper spine into the shoulder girdle. Do one more. Growing through the upper back, breathing into the back of the rib cage. And then slowly we'll meet down in the center of the mat. Pulling in one leg. Checking that the hip on the leg that you're pulling in is reaching away, creating maximum length between the shoulder and the hip. The other leg, the foot is flexed, pressing the back of the butt and thigh towards the floor, or you can bend if that helps you have more space in your pelvis. We want space in the body. Holding behind the thigh, bending and straightening, really pointing the ankle and pointing the toes. The leg does not have to go straight. We want the thigh to be straight though. So knee over hip, starting with the pelvis heavy to feel the rotation at the hip, crossing around and up. Across, around, and up. And then it's not that the pelvis never moves, it's we want to be able to feel the ball and socket hip leading to and then reversing. So once you have that baseline control, our body's constantly moving. Check in, chin on that pedestal. 2. And then bend the leg, extend it back out. Choosing your leg placement, pulling in the thigh. Reaching the hip away from the shoulder. Hold behind the back of the thigh, bend and straighten. Getting the leg ready to move, holding it, upper thigh is straight, regardless of where the lower thigh is, pressing the upper arms, circle across, around, and up. That other foot, if it's extended out, is flexed. Active leg on the mat. One more in this direction. And then reverse it. Really breathe into the back of the rib cage. And then bend it, extend it. Option to pull your legs in and roll up. or proper roll up with the legs out, peeling up, or rolling like a ball. Make sure you have plenty of room behind you to roll backwards. Make sure nothing's behind you. Your heels are together, toes apart, hands behind the thighs, playing with a lifted C shape. A C that wants to be an I. Playing with floating the feet up, tapping down, resetting, chin on the pedestal, and then holding. Option to stay and hold or take it into rolling like a ball. Rolling to the tips of the shoulder blades. Push-pull on the legs. You're pulling them in and pushing them away to create that tension. And then as far as you can, bring the heels as close to your butt. 3 more. Shoulders are down away from the ears. Last one. And then feet down, slow roll back. The best way to build the roll up is taking your time every time you roll back, finding the center spot at the back of the head. Single leg stretch. You can always keep the head down. Option to tuck the chin, float the head up. Feeling for that connection to the abdominals, pulling in and up. Both hands come to one leg, opposite leg goes high. That outside arm above the ankle, inside arm below the knee. Breathe, inhale, and change with your exhale. Inhale to switch. Anything with the knees, open up that knee angle. You do not need to hold your shins. You can hold your thigh as well. That leg that's pulling in, that hip is reaching away, just like the single leg circles. Pulling the leg in, reaching the hip away so that the trunk is staying really long. And then picking up the tempo, inhaling for 2, exhaling for 2. Final 3, 2, 1. Hug both legs in, lower the head down, look side to side. Eventually you can leave the head up the whole time if that's something that works for you. Curling chin to chest, exhale into your tight ball, long spine. On the inhale, arms reach back, legs reach forward, opening up your shape. Exhale, hugging it in. Inhale, opening up, just like you're in the 100 here. Keeping that angle as high as you need to connect to your pelvis and abs. You can start to lower the legs if the abs are staying even tension. Inhale, open. Exhale, draw in for 3, 2, 'Hug both legs in, lower the head down, look side to side. Remember to go different side to side. I have not been. Curling chin to chest. Big scissors. Both legs can stay bent and open up that knee angle, or you can straighten. Hold below or above the knee and really point those ankles. Pull, pull, scissor switch. Pull, pull. Head staying still. Curling up to the tips, the bottom of the shoulder blades. No need to curl up higher because you can re-lengthen the spine. If you're curling up high, get longer again. Lengthen the trunk. Pull, pull. For 3, 2, Last one. Hug the legs in, rock your ball up or roll up for spine stretch. Forward. Open up the legs wide, untuck the sits bones. You can always take your hands, feel the back of the pelvis. We want it really upright. That means you can also bend your knees to help accomplish that. We want to focus more on the spine here. Again, think about the back of the rib cage expanding and let your shoulder girdle just sit on the rib cage here. Inhaling tall. Exhaling like you're peeling off an imaginary wall, chin to chest, upper back, middle back. Low back stays anchored like it's on that wall, and then you stack back up into the wall. Low back, middle back, upper back. Inhale. Exhale, peel off the wall. Inhaling. Even if the legs are bent, press the back of the thighs down to help lift the spine up. One more. And then slowly go all the way back down to the center of the mat for corkscrew. For corkscrew, get really long through your trunk. Feel your sacrum as your anchor point. Option one is to have diamond legs. So thighs out slightly, toes pointed. Arms can be wide or pulling in, as long as you can keep the back of your rib cage and shoulder blades heavy. Bring both legs in, draw a circle to the right, around, and up. Option to straighten the legs as well. Bent is great for really feeling the connection between the thighs and the pelvis. You can let your pelvis move a little bit more here. As you start drawing the circle, one hip lifts a little, still controlling the movement. And hug it in, rock up or roll back up. For saw. Open back up like spine stretch forward. Option of bend or straighten the legs. Arms out, open wider. Keep them in your peripheral vision. We want to keep both sits bones evenly weighted as we twist. Reach opposite pinky finger towards pinky toe. Reach 3, 2, 1, and up. Chin still on that pedestal. Switching. Notice what's happening at the opposite leg. 3, 2, 1. As we twist away from that hip, can you keep that leg and hip down? Lengthening, lengthening. So keeping both legs still. For 3, 2, one more set. Really lengthening through the whole spine. There's muscles between each segment of the spine. And then zip the legs, slow roll back. Turn around for swan. Feeling your hip bones reach towards the mat as well as your pubic bone. So you may not feel any of the 3 touch. You're balancing the weight between the hip bones and the pubic bone. Option 1, keep those legs hip width apart. Option 2, zip the legs together. Either way, keeping the pelvis connecting with the mat as the spine gets really long. Thumbs point in mid-chest height, upper arms hug in towards the rib cage. Float the hands up first, head, neck, and shoulders second. Press through the hands, get a couple more inches, and then when you can, float the hands up and lower down. So really trying to keep the hands up, find true spinal extension. Hands can assist, and then release the hands. The hands is showing us the difference between our active range, hands up, less. Passive range using the hands, a little bit more. Last time, hands lift, find that active range. Use the hands, still keep it active. It's not quite passive, I would say. We're lengthening forward and then lifting up, pressing back into any round back shape. You can have the top of your head down, the top of the head's light, pulling the ribs up. You can also be in a more traditional child's pose. And then crawling back forward for single leg kicks. Same anchoring of the pelvis, legs can be apart or together. Feeling the forearms, checking that the elbows are under the shoulders. Wrists in line with the elbows, and without moving the elbows, drag the elbows in towards your hips. So you can sink your chest and then press through the forearms and lift. Do that 2 more times just to feel the difference. We're not sinking here. So staying lifted, gaze where the floor and the wall meet. Kicking one heel in towards your butt, kick, kick, and switch. Kick, kick. Keeping the pelvis stable against the movement. The legs are moving. The pelvis is stable. For 4, 3, and when you're even, flipping back over for bridging. Start with your feet together so you know that they're lined up, and then walk them a little bit further than your pelvis. This is a good one. If you have a mirror to check that as you bridge up, you want the knees over the ankles, more or less. Arms, press through the back of the upper arms. Keep space in the back of the rib cage. Option to press the arms down. If the shoulders don't feel great here, you can open up the arm angle a little bit. Keep the back of the ribs really wide. Finding your ab corset first. So using that exhale, finding that subtle drawing in and up, 360 degrees. And then you're going to peel up, scoop your abs in, send your butt up. The pelvis is slightly tucked, not over tucked. And then you lower from the upper back, getting long as each bone touches. The goal is to go bone by bone, lengthening the whole spine until the sacrum is really heavy. And starting again, use your exhale, find the connection. Bridging up. Press through the head, neck, and shoulders. Chin still on your pedestal. And then slowly lengthen the spine, bone by bone. Let's do it one more time. And as slow as you can on the way down. Flip onto your side for side kick series. Shoulder over shoulder, hip over hip. Hollowing your body into a very lengthened capital C shape. The low back's not arching. You can always take your hand to that sacrum. Feel for that connection. You can lay on your bottom arm if this works better for your neck. You can also pop your head up, and we're looking for a gaze straight ahead to keep the neck long and lined up. That bottom leg can stay bent, or you can extend it out, pressing down into the thigh to keep that bottom leg stable. Flexing the top foot, flexing the bottom foot. Kick that top foot forward, kick, kick. Point your ankle, point your toes, reach back from the thigh butt. Flex your foot, kick it forward. I have my hand on my pelvis just to feel that the pelvis is not moving, especially backwards. Trying to keep the butt cheeks stacked. 3. 2 more. And then lining up the thighs, tiny turn out on the upper thigh, point that top foot up, 3, 2, 1, flex and lower for 1. Point up, 3, 2, 1, flex and lower. Point and lift, 3, 2, 1, keeping that pelvis stacked. 2 more here. And then little circles, point the thigh, thigh to thigh, heel to heel. Keep these circles small and you're getting really long in your trunk. 3, 2, and then reverse it. 3, 2, flip onto your stomach for heel beats. Anchoring the pelvis, floating the legs up by reaching the heels back. It's less about lifting and more about lengthening. Tapping the heels open and close. Little beats. For 3, 2, and lower. Switching sides. Get really long into your spine. A gentle C curve. Reaching out the legs. Top hand can be in front of your chest or on your pelvis. Flexing the top leg, flexing the top foot, sending the leg forward, kick, kick, point, reach back. Trying to send the leg forward from the pelvis and back from the butt thigh. Keeping really long through the trunk. 2, and then keeping the thighs lined up, point that top ankle, tiny turn out, point up, 3, 2, 1, flex lower for 1. Point up for 3, 2, 1. Remember, you can press that bottom thigh into the mat. 2 more. Keep the hips as far from the shoulders as possible. And little circles, thigh to thigh, heel to heel. 3, 2, reverse it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And lay onto your back. For a teaser prep, walk the feet as far away from the hips as you can, keeping both feet down. The further away, the more possible this is going to be. The arms are going to be roll-up arms, so starting about 6 inches off the mat, maybe a little higher. Space in the shoulder blades. Take one leg straight, zip the inner thighs together. Inhale starts the lift, peeling up. Exhale finishes the lift. 3 with control. Check that the chin's still on the pedestal. 2. Last one. Switch. Reset. Inhale starts the lift. Exhale, finishes. Keeping the thighs together. Two more. Trying not to lead with the head. And slowly back down for can-can. Option 1 will be on the elbows. Option 2, laying on your back. If you're up on your elbows, you want those elbows in line with your shoulders, really pressing through the hands and the forearms. So there's wide chest, wide upper back. Pulling the knees in. As the knees pull towards one shoulder, the trunk gets really long. So trying to keep the trunk really long as the knees pull in. When you go back to the starting side, you're going to extend both legs for 1 count and then bend the knees for 2 counts. So go side with bent legs to the side, back. Now you can straighten. That way we just go side to side. So 2 count bent legs, keep pressing through the forearms. 1 count straight legs. 2 counts bent legs, getting really long through your trunk. 1 straight legs. Last time. The pelvis, you're still controlling it, but it is rocking a little bit. Last time. And hug the legs in. Flip onto your stomach for swimming. Arms are reaching overhead. If you want more space in your shoulders, you can go slightly wider in your hands. Trying to lift from the shoulder connection. So start by dragging your hands in towards your hips to get some lift. You're lifting up one arm and you can press through the other arm, especially at the beginning, to get that leverage, and eventually you can float both arms up. Again, your shoulders are spacious, wide, almost shrugging up by your shoulders, but you're lengthening more through your upper back. That's why it doesn't look like the shoulders are up in the ears, because the upper back's really lengthening. And then pause the hands, float up both legs by reaching the heels back, little kicks. Little flutter kicks, point those ankles, point those toes. Option to add back in the arms, either one at a time or both floating. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press back into a round back. Any round back you choose. If you're up on the crown of the head, you can even wrap your hands back to your feet and pull a little bit to get more rounding. And let's finish with a mermaid stretch. Option 1, staggering the legs. Option 2, stack the legs. Option 3, 4, infinity, stand up. Do any position. It's all about the side bending here, so you can also stand up. You can kneel on your knees. If you're in a stacked leg or a staggered leg, your sideways shin. Connect same side of the body hand with that sideways shin. Other arm goes up. Really growing. Again, thinking about that shoulder, shrugs up, but the back of the ribs are competing to lift even higher. That's why it's not just like my shoulder. I'm not wearing it as an earring. I'm growing more through the upper back than my shoulder. So up and over. But I do want space in that shoulder. So I'm thinking about that shoulder blade wrapping around to the side of the ribs. So you can also do what I'm doing and take your hand and start to gently pull that shoulder blade around to the side. Should eliminate any pinchiness. We don't want the overhead to be pinchy. And then we'll take it into a T to the other side. So thinking about space in the rib cage first. Breathing into the rib cage. And then coming back up, switching sides. Getting heavy through both sits bones, even if that one hip's not touching, that's so fine. Just try and imagine it's really heavy. Sink it the best you can. And then lifting up to go over. It's more of a lift than a side bend. I can really crunch into my side body. And that does feel good in a different way. Here we're practicing the length though. It's all about lengthening in this practice. Inhaling up, exhaling over, and then shooting your T, floating to the opposite side, lengthening, breathing into the sides of the rib cage. Chin on your pedestal. And then coming back up. Excellent work. Thank you for following along. I'm Allie. Have a great day.